So the next few videos I'm going to be putting together are going to involve all kinds of odds and ends I'm doing in preparation for insulation and putting the sheathing on the ceiling and the walls. So it'll kind of come to you in segments. If there's anything in there I forget that you can say, hey, you really ought to do this before you insulate or put the skins on, be happy to hear it. So here we go. All right, first off, we are putting a roof deck between that hatch and this ceiling fan. So I wanted to get these brackets on because the bolts are going to go through, bolt to the framing inside the bus. So I've got those all done. So I'll show you kind of what my plan is. All right, sorry, I thought I had that set up already. But I'm going to have a 3-inch high by 1-inch thick piece of tube that goes along the side of the bus to catch the end of the thing. So I've got a 2-inch spacer there and a 1-inch board. So that gives me what the 3 inches would be on that side. And there's that bracket. I didn't show you me welding it up and bolting it on. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then in the middle, this end tube here, right here, will actually be 2 inches thick until it's going to hit the bus right in here somewhere. So I've got an inch spacer here, so that makes this the 2 inches, so I can tell that everything's going to work. And then in the middle, it's going to drop down to a 1-inch thick flat tube. That's why that 1 inch goes right across the bus there. And then the tube that comes across this way will actually sit on these plates that I bolted through to the framing. And then my decking will go this way across the pieces. And so I've got all of those in. And the same on this end. Got all of those in and sealed down to pick up my deck. So there's the deck. On to the next project. So Rhonda's working away on these. I'll show you what we're doing. So we're putting in, hi Rhonda.
Hi.
So they're putting in these light covers.
Okay, like this.
Okay.
That's what we're using.
And we're putting them in,
that.
you can see like that. So what we did is we've run the wires in the bottom. We've taken all of the extra wires and the connections and stuffed them in that box. Like that. The plan is then when I insulate, it'll cover those up. But whenever I want to get to and replace those lights with my LEDs or for any other reason, they won't be covered in spray foam insulation. So there are those. I can show you. We used these. So these are just a Ziploc container, rectangular containers and lids. The 5 8-ounce containers are the ones we got, and they work perfect to sit right over the light and should work great. So she's got all of the back ones in now except one right over there, right there that she's working on, and then she's got some in the front to do, but that's the project we're working on now. Another odd and end we're doing is I've got two things. This is going to be an electrical conduit that I'm running up through the ceiling, that all of my lines from the ceiling, my coax cable, my solar wire, all of that will come down here. I'm actually going to put a piece of 1.25 inch conduit in here, and it'll run down this wall. Whoops, there's your bright light, and through the floor into the electrical bay. That way at any point in time, if I need to change wiring or run wiring, I can do that. And then also in this same area right here will be the vent for the tanks downstairs. So we'll have to run that tank and it'll come down this same wall. I've got to get that in. So that's another project, odd and end project we're working on. Electrical things we're working on. This is one of them. So this is a 12 volt like cigarette lighter. It has a dual USB port under this flap if I can get it open with one thumb. All right, there it is right there, a dual USB. and then it just has a switch to turn it off and on. So I put a box in here like that, then we'll just sheet over the top, and then we'll cut a hole in the box and that'll fit in there. This is right by the kitchen table. We're going to put another one over here. I haven't got the box in yet, but that's where our entertainment center is. So we're going to put one there. And then in the bedroom, we're going to put in two. We're going to have one right there where it says 12 volt on her side, and one right there where it says 12 volt on my side. So I'll be working on those. It's dark, but I want to go ahead and close out this post so hopefully you can see. So I got all my slats in the ceiling. They're done. And I got them all done up here in the front. You can see how they come up. They land straight in the front there. So that's pretty good. I'll just have these two triangular areas right there and right there. That'll be difficult to work with, but we can make them work. Anyway, I'm on to electrical. My big push now is to get ready for insulation. So I'll catch you up on the electrical and the other things I've done next time. Anyway, follow me along. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the like button. Enjoy this journey with us. Back at it. So here we are with electrical. I'll show you what we're doing. So I'm using 12 volt switches, but none of them are actually going to fasten into the box like a normal electrical switch. So basically all this is a hole to put the wires in, connect the cable to, my conduit to, and then eventually once I get all the plywood on, I'll cut the hole, mount the switch. This will just be all the wires in behind it. So right here I've got, this one right here is for my awning and porch lights. This one here is my main light. It'll have a electronic dimmer, and this one right here, I'm not even sure, I didn't mark it yet. So I should have. But I think this one right here is indirect light. That's what it is. I've got some indirect lighting that'll be underneath a molding, kind of flashes out the side. That's what that is. You can see I ran my conduit down and over here and then just ended it. Once I get my walls and my floor all in, insulation done, there'll actually be a junction box right there. And then out of that junction box I'll have a conduit that goes over the wheel well portion and gets me into the first bay, so that I can feed conduits in and out of wires in and out of that conduit anytime I want and get into that junction box. And I decided that I know a lot of people are doing the wiring tracks, all of that kind of stuff, and I am doing that as well, but there's certain things I just don't want stuck on the outside. So my light switches are going to be recessed, and my lights, I'm just putting this box in, running all my conduits to it, and then I'll use a hole saw, cut a hole, and my LEDs will snap in to that area once it's all plywooded. So that's what I'm doing for my lights. I've got all of those in, if you can see them in my terrible lighting. Anyway, so I'm working on all of my light zones. Electrical for 110 is the same way. Underneath the bus, through the storage bays, all the way along the bus, I'm going to have a wire loom. And so this wire right here has enough wire in it to get down into that loom and make it over to where the panel is. But I wanted my plugs to be recessed like a normal plug. So this is a plug for the kitchen counter. That goes up to my microwave, and that's probably all that's going to be on that circuit. But they were right together. Then over here, this is another kitchen outlet. It's going to go down. So that one there has enough wire to make it across the bus through the loom and over to the power panel. And then I'm stubbing out of that one. This one here is for the television in the bedroom. And then I'm stubbing out of that one. I'm going to come over. That one right there is going to be an outlet with a USB, so I can charge on my nightstand USB from 110. I also have, kind of dark back here, so you have to bear with me. I also have these right, we'll move them up to the light here. There you go, that I showed you once before. But those I've actually got made up a low voltage box here, which you can't see. But anyway, these will go right here, and that'll be 12 volt USB. That's a 12-volt switch. I've got conduit coming into it to bring the power in. Once I build the cabinet, these the lights that switch runs will actually be here in the headboard for when we're in bed. So anyway, that's what I'm doing now. It's just trying to track down all of these electrical circuits. I will show you what I found. Pretty decent deal. So I got a drill bit. You can see that hole. And that drill's a 7/8 hole, which is the size of a 1/2 inch knockout. And then I picked up some of these, which are just plastic, but I can snap them. Let's see if I can do it while you watch. Snap it in this hole right here. Snaps in, and then that gives me a bushing, so that I don't have to worry about the wire rubbing on the metal. I'm gonna foam it as well. Once I get all my insulation, it'll all be foamed in. But I went ahead and put those in everywhere that the wire passes through the steel, like right there. And so those are all of the electronic outlets I think I'm putting in. There's just one for the TV, one on each side, USB, 110, and an outlet. Oh, actually, I've got one right there. You can see where I got it marked. That'll be for the bathroom, but it's actually not going to be in the wall. It'll be in the shower wall, which will be an interior built wall. So I do not have to put that one in yet. And that one right there is marked for the fridge, but it's actually going to come up through the floor and just be down there, down low. And I don't have to bring it up either. So as far as in the wall, I just have a few. So I'll get those done and back at it. Oh, one more thing while I got you here. So I went ahead and took some of my Ceratex, my ceramic insulation board, and anywhere that I have a box, I put a piece behind it. Like up here, up there. Because I don't really have a lot of insulation get blown in behind there, but that piece of Ceratex is supposed to be as good as 1.5 inches of the blown in styrofoam insulation. So at least I have that between the metal and the boxes. Anyway, back at it.